Hey guys, time today to talk about the Lumintop Prince. I actually held off on this review for a little bit because this flashlight's copper and I wanted it to oxidize a little bit so you would get a chance to see what that would look like when you buy one of these for yourself. Let's go over the numbers real quick. What you have here is a flashlight that can take a single 18650. It can take two CR123s, two rechargeable CR123s, or two 18350 batteries. I tested it with all four, which took forever by the way, and got some numbers for you for that coming up shortly. It uses the XML2 U2 LED, which is one step behind the best XML2 out there, but still U4 is out, but other than that it's a very up-to-date and current LED. You have three modes, very simple interface. The low mode being 25 lumens for 65 hours, mid mode 170 lumens for 11 hours, and high mode 1000 lumens for 2.5 hours. As I mentioned, just simple low, medium, high. Working voltage 3 volts to 8.4 volts, IPX8 waterproof standard, which is 2 meters, and impact resistant to 1.5 meters. Let's get into performance here. So, one thing to note is this flashlight is thermal regulated, but it does not have low voltage protection. So when you're using this flashlight, you're going to have to use button top batteries. And here's one of the Lumintops that I tested, which is really a NCR 18650B, so it's actually a good battery. A lot of manufacturers just kind of put junk out there. This is actually a pretty good battery, to be honest. I tested it and compared it to the Panasonic NCR 18650B, and performance seemed to be pretty close, let's just put it that way. So this is available to you before we get into performance in copper, stainless steel, and brass. The big difference being that copper is going to oxidize, as you can see here, and also copper is going to have better thermal conductivity, so you will have a flashlight that just sheds heat a lot quicker if you do go with the copper, but once again you're going to lose that nice shiny out of the out of the box look within a week. Performance. Now I tested to see where the brightness was, and my numbers, mind you, are about 10% error in them. So I ended up with a low mode of 33, a mid mode of 140, and a high mode of 1040. So we're definitely within that 10%. So I'd say their claims for lumens are accurate. Let's see, runtime testing. With an 18650, I got 113 minutes. And the reason why I got 113 is because this light is thermal regulated. And in my numbers, I did see some kind of up and down in my testing, which kind of, as the light got hot, cooled a little, all that, it tended to adjust itself. But I also turned the light on, and just every time it dimmed, just turn it back on and turn it back down and just push this thing to the absolute limits. If you were to turn the light on and let the thermal regulation run its course, you would probably get a much higher runtime than 113 minutes. So I just wanted to point that out. I tested this to the extreme. I kept this thing running at 100% for that full 113 minutes. I just didn't give it a break. So just want you to know that their runtime considers the thermal regulation. For two CR123 batteries, I got 100 minutes. For two rechargeable CR123s, I got 36 minutes. And two 18350 batteries, I got 60 minutes. The light draws 2.55 amps at full power. Now let's talk about construction. This thing is copper, guys. This thing is a one heavy flashlight. And at first I didn't really care for this carbon fiber insert, but guess what, guys? I actually like it because when you're running this light on turbo, it gets hot. And having this insert to hold on to is really good because that's like it's hot and it gives you a nice cool place to hold on to while you're handling it. The clicky is a reverse clicky, and it's fully recessed, so the light will tail stand, number one. And number two, because it's recessed, it won't turn on in your pocket accidentally. Turns on, as you can see. Reverse clicky means you change the modes while the light is on. So you have three modes. We're not going to bring this outside, guys, because my camera just never picks up well. But you can see it's kind of a nice round beam with a center hot spot. So the clicky is very nice, very receptive. Probably one of the best switches in a flashlight I've tested yet. It's a very good switch. It's very accurate. No misfires. Nothing like that. Moving down. The pocket clip is very strong. Actually a little stronger than it needs to be. And it's actually a little bit of a problem. And my biggest complaint about the light, the clip is too strong. When you take off the tail end and put a battery in, it's very difficult to put it back on because you actually have to push against the spring to get it, because it is in its natural place resting against the carbon fiber. So if you want to fix that, you could definitely probably put a little tiny washer or a shim under the screws there. But for me, I don't bother with it. I just put the flashlights in on the head side. So just so you know that. But otherwise, that pocket clip is very strong. And it is stainless, by the way, held in with 2 Torx bits. You have double-sided anti-reflective coated glass, so if you ever do take this thing apart, you don't have to worry about which way you put the glass back in, because it is coated on both sides. Nice smooth reflector. And of course you got your XML2 in there. Copper, as I mentioned before. Really good heat shedding qualities, but it will tarnish. And when I take this off, you'll see the difference between the brand new shiny copper and the oxidized copper. And you can stop that if you want. You can always put like lacquer or something like that on the copper and it'll prevent it, but I don't care. I like it. I like the old look to it. As I said, you need those protected batteries because there's no low voltage protection, and also the connector in there is recessed, held in with a retaining ring, so if you want to do some mod work, that'll be easy to get to. As I said, I take the batteries in and out from the front because it's a lot easier than messing with that spring. Double O-rings on each one. So overall, very good quality build, very good materials, very heavy, solid hunk of metal here. I'd love to try out the stainless steel and the brass to see if there's any performance difference, maybe someday down the line. But for now, I just had the copper here, and overall it's a really good performer. It's a very good look to it. It comes sealed in a Mylar bag, so the oxidation will not start until you open it. So if you are buying this, maybe you're a collector or you want something like this to sit nice and shiny on the shelf, you can keep it in the Mylar bag and it will not oxidize till you open it, which is kind of cool. You don't have to worry about getting a flashlight that's all dinged up. Also, another thing, the copper, very soft, not something you're going to want to take out in the woods, you know, not something you're going to want to torture test and throw around. The copper is very soft compared to the stainless steel. Very easy to dent it or to do something like that. So that is one other thing you're losing by taking the copper. But you got the option. They're pretty much all the same price, within $1 or $2. So you can pick and choose whichever you want between that brass and the stainless steel. I think I like the looks of the copper the best. I really like the copper, guys. But you know, if I were going to buy one to bring out in the woods, I'd go with the stainless steel, definitely. So there it is, guys. It's a very nice flashlight. It's expensive, guys. I'm not saying this is cheap by any means, but you're getting a really good flashlight, really good performance, really good materials, and plus this is just a very unique flashlight. There's nothing that looks like this on the market. It's, you know, something that has a lot of character. I think it'll make a great gift for people who really like that old school quality. I think this has a good throwback feel to it from the old lights that you find occasionally at garage sales, where people had the old copper lights and people had the old solid aluminum lights and all that. Just that old heavy duty look to them, and I think it's a good gift item, a good thing for collectors and people. You know, not so much for the guy who's going to go hunting, not so much for the guy who's going to be bushcrafting, but for that person who just loves or maybe wants to complete a copper or stainless steel or brass EDC kit or whatever. It's a good alternative. So be sure to check out my budgetlightforum.com review as well, and I'll give you all kinds of links for a coupon code and all that in the description.